Welcome back, everyone. After that short break, we are now finally here after such an intense and amazing game. On to the second match of tonight. And I'm going to try to say this with a straight face as we go with Bang Bros Uni versus From the Trenches. How are you doing, Acronator, as my sidecaster?
Uh, Tired, but we're gonna get through this together. I promise. Both you, me, and the audience, and everyone else working on production tonight.
Oh, I definitely agree. We're going to be going into an interesting match because we just had a game six. I think it was absolutely insane, absolutely amazing. So when it comes into this match, there's going to be a lot of expectations to keep up that momentum. However, I'm very excited because we're going to be going first into Lijiang Tower, which was very similar to the last one.
Yeah, definitely. The main difference here is that these teams, instead of being Diamond, are Grandmaster. This is the highest division for GG. So I'm expecting a lot cleaner play, a lot more set strategies, probably sticking a lot more to the meta. Both of these teams, again, are undefeated, just like our previous match. So this is probably going to be quite the game, if I had to guess.
Definitely. We saw, at least from the last team, very specific compositions being used. So when it comes from both of these teams, I feel we'll get something similar. Both of these teams still seem interested in towards that Rhine Zarya composition, or at least with the Diva. However, From the Trenches does have a 9-man roster. So they're ready to flex people around and swap people if they need to.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a decent amount of flexibility there. Um, Realistically, in terms of compositions, I'd expect to see on Lijiang probably the stereotypical brawl with the Symmetra Junkrat on the control center, and then the other two maps probably something. Probably still seeing Symmetra in all 3 points. In all honesty, I've been seeing that quite a bit in the higher elos as of late, even in Gardens, which is a little bit funky when you think about it, but getting that first TP off to the to point instead of having to risk the bridge is rather useful as long as you don't get booped. Some Lucios will expect that, but otherwise, I'd expect to see Symmetra on basically all 3 points, possibly some Echo Tracer play, probably a decent amount of double bubble outside of Control Center.
Oh, 10 billion percent. I kind of want to see a bit more double bubble. I got so excited from the last game, just seeing so many different compositions. And I feel like when it comes to Overwatch, you get really excited when you see different type of heroes being played, especially out of the ordinary, because some teams just figure out how to make it work in any type of situation.
Yeah, definitely. It's always fun when the meta involves basically like three different metas that aren't even necessarily rock paper scissors. It's more just like the map choice or even the team's style that kind of dictates what they want to play. And control in particular, Lijiang is really good at displaying a lot of different types all in one encompassing map.
Ooh,
I
definitely.
believe the lobby is paused at this exact moment in time. I think the teams are just getting things sorted out.
Yeah. Yep. Who really needs a who needs to start a game after an hour of Overwatch, you know? We're just going to be
Yeah.
going back into this moment where we awkwardly talk and we just wait for the teams to, figure out what's going on, what the issue is.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have too much to talk about in the way of like how they're doing because they haven't played anything yet. We haven't seen them as of yet. But yeah, in terms
Yeah.
of Lijiang, like I said, I'd expect to see the Symmetra a lot. Junkrat on the control center map. In terms of gardens, probably double bubble, maybe some Symmetra to get cheeky at the very beginning, and then what's the other one? Night Market,
Mm-hmm.
possibly even Arisa there. Who knows? That's a pretty tanky. We actually saw it last match, so it certainly is viable.
Yeah, Arisa's in that one spot. I feel if you told me to play Arisa a minute ago, I would have said no. I hate Arisa, but now she's somewhat viable. I actually don't feel uncomfortable playing Arisa when it comes to competitive at Q anymore because at least with a team that just understands to heal you, she works.
Yeah, pretty much. I can certainly see it. The horse is not exactly forgiving when the healers are not willing to just pump everything they got into it to keep her galloping along.
Definitely, 100% true. Just waiting in. Well, the one question I do have to ask is, we saw Bastion on Junkertown. Yeah. Oh, no, we're going in-game 5 seconds. Oh, I'm so excited. I was going to ask a Bastion question, but, who needs to ask that? Because now we're finally going in as... Oh, they were waiting as, I guess, Juice WRLD was trying to load in or something.
Possibly, yeah. Looks like, is this, Control Center?
Oh, well...
Must be.
Yeah, it has to be. You can see the dual planes in the background.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this camera angle. That's actually really cool. So we have, let's see, both teams opting to run. Yeah, no real surprises here. Bang Bros Uni not going for that Symmetra, but otherwise somewhat normal. Granted, they do still have some time to swap before the gates open, so... Okay, yeah, there we go. There's the Symmetra. Kree instead of a Junkrat. It's not exact. Okay, well, they're still swapping it up. I don't trust these teams right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just the slow panel up to finally make it into this, like, frame within a frame shot. It was just hilarious. As both of these teams are going to be making it out to the server room. X44 onto the Doomfist. That's going to give them the ability to start punching it, especially with that bubble. The Symmetra there hopefully ending to just slow him down. But look at that Melodon high charge. They finish off Juice WRLD into this fight. And now Red is being able to find... make a wish, and now they're just brawling in. X just trying to make a difference, but it's just going to be melted down. I'm just going to call them Make and not Make a Wish Kid.
A lot of memes in the names for one of these teams. Take a wild guess as to which. But either way, that was a really good take from the trenches, where a Red Cross in particular did a really good job of just focusing down targets. They're still going. Hydra already popped that Bat Matrix, and they're just pressing W.
Yeah, Spark is at 100%, looking to start melting people down. Cobra goes dangerously low and is going to be eating the dust. Immortality saving everyone else from the trenches as they're just melting down, looking to just try to capture this, keep this point uncontested. They're just backing out. That's Symmetra being melted down. Spark having so much pressure, being booped around, not being really able to play the game. And now the Reinhardt's recontested back into the fight. Luna's gone. They use the sound barrier. High Noon manages to find two. And the Sim Wall.
That one might have been an overinvestment, but everything else was textbook example of how to retake a point. Like, from the trenches right now, we're playing really fast, and it's really working incredibly well. Bang Bros Uni is not even capable of pushing through the doors without getting punished as a result. And they don't have too many resources. Juice WRLD is going to come up onto that beat somewhat soon, but I mean, how do they get through this choke point?
Yeah, that window is there. It's finally gone, but the Sim turrets are not there. They still have Shatter, and they're looking. They're going to be able to find a couple people. Juice WRLD getting Shatter, XC as well. But Cobra is going to be one going down. Same with the High Noon sound barrier being popped out. Diva Bomb being used behind them is going to be able to find out. Oh, that's the one person you don't need gone. They do manage to find out Melon, and they're looking for this Lucio to helpfully allow them. But he's just boosting himself out of there. Spark does manage to find two. Might be evening this fight up. Same with Make-A-Wish Kid. Sure, the point may be at 81%, but there's only a Reinhardt there. And I don't think a Zarya at high charge and a McCree are really going to worry about that.
Yeah, probably not. Realistically, this is going to finally be the point taken over for Bang Bros Uni. But they're in one-fight territory, and from the trenches have been building up and using ultimates at a breakneck pace, in all honesty. It's just been non-stop from them the entire time. They're pushing in. They just didn't worry about pushing through the choke. They just pressed W and said, we'll worry about it later.
Yeah, look at this Spark using the Graviton Surge before they have a time to react. The window High Noon trying to be popped, and they're not really both being able to find much, just brawling down now. Both windows are now invested. And Immortality gets popped out. Luna now going down, and the Spark is just being melted down by a high charge Symmetra. The boosts are finally going to be ending that. Nobody really just going to be able to do much. The McCree just trying to back out, being able to demech the Diva and finish her off. But this is that last fight, 90%, and only a Reinhardt is left to try to touch.
Yeah, this has honestly been a ridiculous amount of tempo coming out from the trenches. They're still investing ultimates, and it's just staggered fights. They're not playing around. They really want this. They
boop Spark around, not being able to touch the point. Now, look, the Reinhardt finally wanted to find him out. Make does come back onto the defense, finds out Wig, but doesn't even matter. Sister being able to fight Red, and they're still evening up the fight. The Ryan comes back, not being able to touch, and I apologize.
It's been a long night, folks. But either way, beautiful plays from the trenches. That was so ridiculously fast. I was not expecting one team to come out that dominant. Keep in mind, both of these teams are undefeated up until this point. Bang Bros aren't looking terrible, but they're just not playing that fast. It's not really that they're playing bad. It's from the trenches playing ridiculously well, like out of this world.
Honestly, I'd have to agree. It's kind of hard to take this one team seriously when it comes to the name. But now look, they're running the Symmetra. Bang Bros running out the Pharah with the Mercy now with the speed boost. No Symmetra now. I think this is going to be very interesting on how they try to take the points.
Melon fans definitely going to have a tough time dealing with Make-A-Wish, but it's certainly possible.
And now look at this. Both of these teams, the sleep goes on, but Melon's going to wake up very quickly. The brawl is happening on point. Red Ross is going to be flanking, looking to take out that monkey, doing so much damage that Blue just not able to survive. The D.Va now having to back up. The Ana just being hard pressed, has to just move around the Pharah in the air, looking to just poke people out. And it looks like Red is just at a shooting range, even if he's not a sniper.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you do as a Reaper? Just teleport into the backline? Not even the backline, just slightly in between the enemy's backline and frontline. Lua isn't allowed to exist, apparently, and Melon fan just doing their thing, dealing with the Pharah Mercy. The Pharah Mercy is giving so much respect to this lone McCree, and that's exactly what From the Trenches wants right now, because they have nothing else to really deal with it. And that's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
look, they find Hydra, but Red's the one who finds both the Pharah Mercy combination, and now they're not being able to do much as both the Winston and D.Va just have to kind of back up or let themselves die here.
They've gone a little bit as like unsung heroes up until this point in the series, but I want to like emphasize the insane performances from both Hydra and Riggs on From the Trenches. Like, they're building up their ultimates and using them so fast. Granted, they just stack their support ultimates, but they're building them like once every 45 seconds. I don't even know if that matters.
Oh, I think it does, because it means the amount of damage that's being pumped out in them, they're just bringing it back. They're rotating ults so well right now that the rest of the team has 4 at 60%, while Bang Bros just have the Pharah Mercy combination with the D.Va Bomb.
And realistically, how does Make-A-Wish even use this barrage, aside from maybe like a solo barrage onto Red Cross once he doesn't have Wraith? It's so difficult to breathe if you're Bang Bros Uni right now. And in the meantime, From the Trenches, they have every ultimate aside from their support ultimates.
Yeah, they find out X44 on the flank. Now they're not going to be having anyone to kind of help poke out Spark. Remeching now with the D.Va Bomb behind him being used, the res going right out. The barrage being used, but it's just going to be stunned out the air and shut down. The Mercy now just being punished, just isn't even going to be able to touch. Now we reach into the kind of over time phase as they're just trying to stall, but I don't think there's going to be anyone left here as everyone just died so early and so late that From the Trenches, well, they're just going to be making their way out of it now by taking the first point.
Yeah, they're. I don't think they were ever in the trenches, to so to speak, because they've been undefeated thus far, and I can see why. This is terrifying if you're if you're trying to face this team. I mean, they don't. They're just suffocating. That's the best word I can use to describe it. I mean, look at this. they're barely even like shielding the McCree when he's using Hainu. They just push forward and say, well, they can't shoot anyone else than us if we're body blocking for the Kree. Who needs shields? We can just press W and win.
Yeah. I think this is the type of aggression you really want to see from a division so high up. They played near perfection, I would say, when it came to understanding their distancing and when to aggress, especially because Bang Bros' Pharah just was too scared to go up against From the Trenches, was so high up and didn't have the ability to just burst someone down that the Reaper was just standing there like, the moment you come close, I'm just going to shoot you, you'll back up and stop fighting us.
Yeah, and even there was a brief moment there where the Pharah on Bang Bros Uni tried to go after Hydra, the Baptiste from the trenches, and Hydra started winning the 1v1, or I guess 1v2 in that case, because the Mercy pocket, like, to the point where the Pharah Mercy had to back away and go elsewhere. That's like mental. That a Baptiste can actually do that much damage, hit those shots, and I guess that's to be expected from such a high elo for this division, but at the same time, that's not easy. I mean, every single player here is relatively high elo, including the Pharah, so being able to pressure out Afara as just a lone Baptiste while everyone else on your team is worrying about something else in the fight. That's ridiculous. That's the kind of survivability and output in general that from the trenches supports kind of have to do to keep up this momentum, and it's working incredibly well.
Oh, I would definitely agree, especially when it comes to kind of later on into the maps. I feel like once you have a great start such as this, that momentum's just going to follow in. You've really got to just puff out your chest and say that we are just going to win this.
Yeah, well, I don't want to predict anything too soon because that was just one map. But at the same time, if this goes the exact same way as Lijiang for every remaining map, we may not be here all that long. It's really going to be on Bang Bros. You need to step up the speed because I don't think From the Trenches is going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, well, we are going to a hybrid map next. That's Blizzard World King's Row or Eichenwald. As much as I said King's Row from before, I definitely see this one coming out this time. I don't see it two games in a row, no King's Row. Fake news, impossible.
Yeah, that's that. I feel like the universe would just collapse in on itself if there was no King's Row today. Does look like, unsurprisingly, From the Trenches is going to be defending first. That's pretty standard, you know, the way they just dominated Lijiang. If they can get a quick defense and then a solid offense, the map's over that much quicker, and I'm sure they want to just go home as soon as possible. The first game took so long. They're starting like an hour and a half later than what they thought they probably would be if it was a normal game from the previous streamed match earlier.
Yeah, they were very dedicated to make sure their game is streamed, and I'm pretty sure this is why both of these teams want to show off their skills. They want to show off the talent that they have. And again, similar to the last game that we just casted, both of these teams are undefeated. 2 wins, 0 losses. One of them is walking out with a victory, and we're going to Blizzard World again?
Okay, that's interesting.
Who do I have? Who's writing the script? This is rigged.
Blame Navino.
I do blame Navino.
He's the easy scapegoat. Either way, it's going to be interesting because I would not expect to see the same compositions come out that we saw like from the Diamond Division earlier. I'd expect probably to see more double bubble as opposed to more brawl. However, they could just prove me wrong. I mean, they've proven us wrong already by picking Blizzard World once again. Fascinating to see why. I guess the losing team in this case would expect that everyone practices King's Row. So I guess in that case they're looking for like that surprise factor, try and get their feet underneath them. But who's to say?
Oh, I definitely agree or can understand. I'm happy to see Blizzard World. It's definitely an interesting map, different way you could kind of run things around. Last time we saw the double bubble, switch over to the brawl, so definitely it's kind of, I guess, more of your playstyle, but I really feel like From the Trenches are just going to run pure brawl with the Reaper. I mean, not brawl, the pure dive with the Reaper.
Possibly, yeah. It would not be the first time I've seen it, especially at this ELO. I like it when teams get cheeky like that and try to dive with a Reaper. Actually, we're seeing something relatively close to what we saw earlier in the Diamond game. At the very least on the defense from the Trenches with the Orisa Reinhardt. In terms of DPS, they're a little bit different. I believe we saw like an Echo Tracer or something along those lines. Either way, should be a rather fun composition. I found that this Orisa Rein double shield is a little bit faster paced than like the Sigma variant. So at the very least, I get to see some movement from Cobra in this case. Potentially Bang Bros Uni coming out onto the stereotypical Grav Dragon brawl with the Lucio Baptiste.
Yeah,
some good combos.
I can't lie to you. I really love what From the Trenches are running. That Orisa allows the Reinhardt to overstay their welcome while the Orisa just pokes in from the back. You have to focus about 2 shields and so much pressure. Bang Bros is just going to be doing their best to try to engage in the fight. Cobra goes down dangerously low, but it's able to be rotating around the corner. Now here's where the fight comes in. The Orisa just doing their best to kind of shield this out. Orbit having to use Hull, and how much damage being popped out. Cobras, both their mortalities being used. They're managing to find out Melon Fan, who was on the support, funny enough, last round. And now looking, oh no, they weren't. No, now they're looking to go out. Red looking to flank out, but it looks like Bang Bros are going to be able to just start running on what you lack in shield, what you lack in damage. You give in for shields, and I don't think From the Trenches are going to want to stay on that type of composition for too long.
Yeah, probably not. I could totally see Xenon swapping off, or possibly even Cobra if they want to go pure double shield over to the Sigma. Oh, I do actually have a disconnect from one of these supports for Bang Bros. That's rather unfortunate. I believe it was Sister. So that's basically all of their amplification matrix charge now gone. I wouldn't be shocked if they had that, and that wouldn't be too uncommon. So that's probably still going to be first point for Bang Bros Uni, but coming into the second point, they're going to be a little bit anemic, I guess. Thankfully, Sister does come back rather quickly, so they'll be able to unpause in just a second here once they're all loaded in. But again, they're missing that Ant Matrix charge, so they're probably not going to have that until halfway through the second point push.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing them come right back into the fight. Sister's ult charge is going to be reset, but it doesn't matter. They've recaptured the point. This still gives From the Trenches the ability to kind of hold a spot that they finally want. And interestingly enough, they're going to be taking this angle. Cobra's going to be able to just sit there and take the front line while Xenon uses the window to start melting people down. Look at that. They find out Spark. They want to take in the aggression. They don't want to give Bang Bros the chance to start resetting.
Yeah, and I can't blame them. From the Trenches, they're doing the smart thing here. Oh, okay, they're really going for it.
They're still going in. That shatter gets blocked, but everyone else, Luna manages to pop it up, but doesn't manage to find anyone. Gonna have to pay for your life with that. My bad, as the Hanzo's just looking to find value. So much healing that Hydra's having to pull in to save both of the tanks, while everyone else from Bang Bros is just looking to finish people off. Mella's still having the high noon. They use the bongo. What a long fight, as they're now popping out the high noon. The Graviton Surge being used, but there's gonna be no follow-up. The Dragons. The sound barrier saves them from the Dragons, except for Riggs. Red Ross on the Widow just looking to pick people out. The window gets invested to just slow this fight down, and they're still looking like they want to take this.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, Riggs is going to get back rather quickly, and Red Cross has been finding a decent amount of picks on the Widowmaker still. So, I mean, why not still take this? X44 goes down even further. The Bang Bros Uni can't get out of spawn, despite the brilliant first point take. They're having a really tough time breaking this choke.
My goodness, they really love their aggression, and I feel this playstyle is helping them a lot, especially with Bang Bros not really investing their ults first. They're going to be going into this fight with about 3 ultimates that lose that sound barrier coming up late. Red Ross gets found out. There's no Widow now losing them. Look at that. Shatter hits absolutely everyone but the Zarya, and now they're just being able to walk in, but that window's going to be saving them, especially with that extra damage. Now everyone else just has to back up. Bang Bros finally having some room to breathe.
Ironically, the one person that didn't get shattered there, Spark, was crucial in keeping everyone alive. Body blocking with the bubbles, and just making sure that no one fell long enough for the supports to get back up and keep everyone alive. And the cart's actually moving now. It took them a little while, about a minute and a half, give or take. But Bang Bros Uni's not looking too worse for wear. From the Trenches going to have to find a good ult combo or something along those lines to really stop momentum at this point.
Yeah, look at that. Hydra used the window. Melon also finds X44. Luna now goes down, and they just have to back up. Spark isn't going to be able to escape with that high charge either way.
Okay, well, Spark unfortunately was going to die anyway, so that's just, you can't kill me, only I can kill me. Oh, okay, well, Make-A-Wish is still, was still going, rather. So, no, I was going to say From the Trenches needed a good old combo, but apparently you just need a good Baptiste window.
Yeah, look at that sights being used. I think the best thing coming out of Bang Bros is that grab Dragons combo. There is no sound barrier from Riggs.
Definitely, however, it doesn't look like they're quite in place to utilize it yet, unless they want to, like, duo ult.
What an interesting window they use, as they're just trying to break through. They have to use Immortality to sustain themselves. Now that bongo being used, and the Graviton Surge, they're in that corner. The High Noon Dragons get popped out, but the Immortality keeping them alive. Melon still walks. They all die to it! 4 people, and they're going to be able to push this point to the capture spot.
However, that cost literally 6 ultimates from Bang Bros Uni to capture that point. They're going to get it, but they're going to have a rough time pushing in the beginning of third point here, and this is a very holdable corner. Not necessarily a choke, but definitely a hard corner to push past.
Yeah, that window high noon's being used. They managed to find X44. The immortality gets used, not going to be able to save out Luna. And yeah, you're right. Those 6 ultimates being invested gives them no sustain to protect themselves here.
And realistically, when you look at what From the Trenches used, it was really just, what, High Noon and Baptiste Matrix, and that's it. They didn't overinvest either. They just knew that they had more resources so they could stop the cart pretty effectively.
Yep, the D.Va uses the mech just to come back. The sound barrier being used allows them to start aggressing in. And look at that shatter, absolutely amazing. They managed to get everyone and Spark before they can go in, as well as Xenon is back onto the Arista. That's gonna
They're touching the spawn.
Look at that. Xenon's also onto the D.Va, which I feel like is an amazing trade because it allows them to play the way they want to now.
Definitely, Xenon's doing a great job of playing the defensive style of D.Va, allowing her team to get aggressive. And they already have Bat Matrix again. Hydra building these so ridiculously fast. Melon Fan gonna have that High Noon, but they're not gonna need it this fight. They already won it.
Yeah, now look, they're just staying out. Melon Fan already having the High Noon back up, just waiting to use it, but that window is going to be stopping them from ever looking outside. The payload now reaching inside the corner. That stun comes out on Luna, doing so much damage, having to run in. The shatter comes out, manages to get blocked. The sun not being able to find much value. Everyone on the side of Bang Bros having to go dangerously low as Red Ross manages to find out the big. The Graviton Surge looking to help people out with the Dragons and the High Noon being invested. They do manage to use 3 ults to finish it out, but they only have a minute and they still have a chance from the trenches to win the next fight.
Yeah, that fight was very costly. At the very end there, they used both DPS ults and the Graviton, basically in tandem, but even before that, they used the Baptiste Matrix and the Shatter. So they used 5 ultimates to win that fight. That's so costly. From the Trenches are winning these fights with like 1 or 2 ultimates max. That's so hard to beat that ult economy.
Now look, they use the window, the sound barrier coming out of from Sister, but the Shatter managing to find out Juice WRLD. They're being able to find out the main take and the flex support. You just have to back up now. Spark is so low and just going to be finished out. They only are going to have a minute to try to build up some ultimates. And it's just like you said, From the Trenches have been building up their ultimates counterclockwise and not spending them overly. They are doing an amazing job at this ult economy.
Yeah, I mean, I look at their ults. They still have 3, whereas Bang Bros Uni has literally nothing. They're not going to have anything, and this is probably going to be the last full fight they have. From the Trenches have the beat. That's a fight-saving ultimate. You have High Noon, which the way Melon Fan's been using it has been just incredible. Red Cross can use the Pulse Bomb whenever he wants.
Yeah, look at that Melon using the High Noon, looking to find some pick. Red Ross uses it, Cross uses it, and the room, but they are able to dodge it up. Race does find the boom on the Juice WRLD. X44 managing to find out Carbon, now the 1v1. The D.Va comes out to help to look for that Hanzo. They just want to finish this out, but and unfortunately the peel just comes in. They're just able to end out. Red Ross still looking to just end somebody's life in the backline though.
Gonna have to get out, oh my word, are you kidding me? Red Cross is just nasty at this Tracer. Just, like, they're still in the backline. Yeah, they're just waiting for a good opportunity.
Yeah. Now look, the window gets used. They've lost 2 in this fight, and it's in overtime. That window gets invested. Juice WRLD able to find Melon Fan. The Shatter now comes out for defending them, but both of them are now out. They're just looking. Red Cross now building up. That second Pulse Bomb's going to be able to look for the hero clutch moment. Going to be popping it out. Manages to get the stake. Going to find out that Reinhardt. And now they're just looking to do with the best that they can. The only person on point that does the majority of the damage is that Zarya, and she's putting on pressure, but everyone else is just being able to LOS it. X44 now coming back with the High Noon is going to be able to start using it and looking to just slow people down. But they're waiting for the Reinhardt so they can be able to touch. Now he's returned, moving this payload 325, left to touch, and they X44 before he can use the High Noon. That's amazing from Red Cross, and now they're looking for the backline just being melting. The immortality comes out, but there's not going to be much to sustain them. Their Reinhardt is now a ball, and Red Cross is being able to force people back as they finish it off and stop the 3rd point capture.
These engagements and this target focus, specifically from the Trenches DPS, is immaculate. Like, they're just playing so well. That being said, that was a really good push from Bang Bros Uni. It cost them a lot of their ult economy, and it made it very awkward and eventually killed the clock, especially going into 3rd point there. But that's still a good push. It's defendable as long as they kind of pick themselves up by their own bootstraps and pull together a more serviceable defense than what they had on Lijiang.
Oh, so now From the Trenches have a very considerable win condition. And I feel when it came to their defense, they were doing an amazing job forcing out a considerable amount of ult from Bang Bros. So when it comes to them going into these fights with their aggression and ult economy, I think we might see them, like, by the time they reach second point, have third point, they have like over 5 minutes worth of a time bank. But that's just me being like overly hopeful.
It's certainly possible, but we'll have to see. You know, offense and defense are entirely different things, and I've seen plenty of teams at times where they'll just be more proficient at one than the other, and we haven't really been able to see Bang Bros Uni properly defend for all that long. I mean, Lijiang didn't really hold control of the point for very long whatsoever, so this is really their first chance to show us what they got on the defense. You know, they had a pretty good offense.
Yeah, they're running out with that Orisa.
I'm not shocked at this point. They seem to like it.
Hey, they seem to like it. They seem to run it well. Personally, for me, I'm a bit confused. But hey, from the trenches, show me how it is. As now they're going to be reaching this corner, building up those shields. Just looking for that poke. The D.Va there, they now have to back up to the corner. Make just looking to break down. They're just kind of meeting each other around, not wanting to do much. Make doing a flank, but not being able to do much. Now everyone just walking up. Cobra, Immortality, just having to invest just to save themselves from the trenches, backing up as Xenon goes dangerously low. The Tracer in the back. Orisa now going down. They're not being able to do much as the Reinhardt is just unable to do much. Red Rosh finally gets a pick. Same with Melon, but by this point, everyone else is just gone, and they have to just reset.
Yeah, you're gonna see some swaps now. Xenon going off of the Orisa. Tried it once. Yeah, they can't meme that hard.
I think something, yeah, I just want to call this out. Look, they're killing everyone. Melon into Lucio just sat there and brought this back. Now the D.Va's touching. There's a Lucio and Mate just trying to do their best to stall this out, but the Reinhardt's back. Same with the Orisa. Same with the D.Va, and now they're just there being able to sit on point. They've already got 2 ticks, and now the counter team is just waiting. Bang Bros just looking to build up some ultimates. There has some ability. Managed to find out Riggs, window being used. The Immortality's now gone. X44 has the high noon. It's just going to be looking to shoot somebody with it. Is going to be looking to burst on the shield. As we see Luna come back into the fight, looks to find out that Baptiste finishes the bomb. Melon fan manages to get 2, but Koba's now gone. They're finally... No, Red Roz and Melon are evening the fight up. The D.Va's now gone, but they finish off.
Are you kidding me?
And it looks like they're going to be able to win this fight back.
Okay, Red Cross.
Yeah, you're done being surprised, huh?
You know, I don't know. That was just a really weird recontest from the trenches, but it worked. I don't think Bang Bros Uni were expecting from the trenches to be that hyper aggressive when they were down by like 3 people. And it worked. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised that it works, because these players have all shown that they're mechanically insane. And you can get away with this kind of stuff. I mean, heck, you see that in the Overwatch League quite a lot.
Yeah, look at that. Shatter comes out. It gets blocked, and that window's going to be making sure that everyone else goes back into the spawn room. My goodness. But look, Bang Bros use so many ults. From the trenches has used so many ults to win their last fight or have such inconsistencies that Bang Bros still have 3 ultimates, and they're coming up on a 4th on X44. So they still have the ability. Now they want to hold the high ground, which is so aggressive. There is nothing from the trenches can do besides just try to rotate around. The Kree dropping down, and it's going to be pressured out. The Dragon's now being used, but the Sound Barrier is going to sustain them. The window gets popped out just to heal them and help them a little bit. The Shatter comes out, gets blocked. The D.Va Bomb now being used, looking to find a target. Riggs does get found out, while the counter D.Va Bomb just being shot out. The High Noon being used to pick out everyone else. The Immortality was gone, and they're just using their ultimates because they just want to win.
My word. These teams play so fast, it's ridiculous. You have Hydra having a small seizure on the points, but it doesn't matter because the point's moving. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Neither of these teams has a great ult economy, but Bang Bros Uni definitely has the better economy in this moment because they have the High Noon, they have the Baptiste Matrix. From the trenches don't really have anything. You know, Hydra and Red Cross are going to build theirs up relatively quickly. It's going to be a while until
they find Hydra, and I think they cancel out the High Noon by from the ground. Melon's absolutely insane. But they have to back out. They still have 2 minutes and around 40 seconds, but they're still building up on ultimates. They used a lot on the last fight.
Yeah, but at the same time, they have time. So they have the flexibility to just say, okay, well, let's take a dry fight, try and draw some ultimates out, which they did. They got the High Noon out. Unfortunately, from the trenches, that's the only ult that they got out. But they can work with that, you know.
Look, they want to take this high ground. The dragons and windows being used perfectly placed. Forces everyone back. They don't have to use immortality, so they'll still have that for the next fight. Hydra also has this window, so the moment that they start coming up, they get to use it and take their turn in this brawl. Look at that Shatter managing to get blocked. No Reinhardt really being able to get one over another, but the counter Shatter now comes out. Isn't able to really find much. Look at that, they have touch point, but just barely. And Melon's able to find a pick, but the sound barrier comes out, giving them the chance to start running over everyone else. Cobra is now gone to pulse bomb, managing to find out Juice broke the spawns on their favor. Melon being able to find out that sister, and they, the DPS, are just absolutely insane. But Spark's still alive. The Diva's there using that bomb, hopefully now being able to end people, and Spark is able to save this fight. Lucio still wanting to engage in.
I feel like Riggs is gonna back out, probably. It's going to be a soft disengage because that's what From the Trenches does, but it will be a disengage nonetheless. That was honestly really cheeky from the Trenches, where they were kind of splitting up, focusing half the front line and half on the cart.
Yeah, look at that. Now they're using that speed boost. Sound barrier to just touch that Diva Bomb, comes out, manages to find Xenon, and manages to find out Make. Now they're just being able to brawl out, finally investing only one ultimate to win a fight. That Shatter now gets used. There's going to be no follow-up, but the 2K from the Lucio is a very hopeful dream, but unfortunately, that isn't going to be much.
This is defendable, however, because this is actually pretty similar to the time bank that Bang Bros Uni had on their offense, maybe like 20 seconds or so more. But realistically, a few good fights from the defense, and they could hold it. Mind you, this is a win condition and not a continue condition, meaning that From the Trenches have to get it to the golden box of victory, otherwise they lose the map.
Oh, I definitely agree. Now look, that window gets used. It's going to force everyone on the side of Bang Bros to just retreat, but that payload gets to move all the way to the corner area. Xenon taking over the high ground just to look for that space. It's all up for the Shatter, but it's not going to be able to do much. Everyone on Bang Bros just looking to try to sustain themselves right across, being able to find out and make, and that's so unfortunate. Now that immortality's gone, the Reiner was stuck inside of a small room, wasn't able to leave, and now they're just pressuring on everyone else. Red Cross may be gone, and there's a Tracer on the point, but it doesn't even matter because everyone else on Bang Bros has to retreat for the time being.
X44 getting dangerously low, but does manage to survive to fight another round. And the cart's getting dangerously close.
Look at that Diva Bomb come out. They're going to be able to shield it out. And the High Noon doesn't find anything from the trenches, but the peel is there. The sound barrier gets used to sustain them so they can just brawl in. But the Shatter managing to find the backline of the supports. Now the Diva Bomb being used from Xenon, hopefully to find a target. Not being able to get much, but does a lot for the remake. Cobra's gone, but the charge manages to even it out. They only really have one fight left. It's around less than a minute, and everyone from the trenches just wants to back out.
Yeah, pretty much one fight and some staggers. However, crucially that Melon fan manages to get out, so they're going to be able to build up to their High Noon a little bit quicker. Oh, Make-A-Wish did brilliant in poking their Hydra. Had the amplification matrix, that was likely going to be the first thing popped in this upcoming fight. Probably still will be, but it's wasting time, and that's all they really need to do. This is coming down to the wire, and both teams have the tools to make it possible.
Yeah, look at that. Pulse Bomb comes out, isn't able to find anyone, but does get a lot of damage, so they still have to wait. A bunch of ultimates coming online from the trenches. The Dragon gets used, hoping to find a target, but unfortunately they have to use that sound barrier to just engage in. Now the Hind looking to just find somebody or force them back. The immortality being used to even it out. Oh my goodness, almost fighting X44. The patience, and now they found two on the point. Look at that, Cobra now goes down, giving them the chance to hopefully come back with the Shatter. Now the Diva being pressured out, Spark not being able to do much. Look at that, the Lucio not being able to touch, just hoping to stall this out until someone else. Make also switching over to the Doomfist. Don't know how much work is going to be able to do as the Baptiste is just able to escape. And from the trenches, bringing it, from the trenches, the second map win.
That was a lot closer than Lijiang. I think Bang Bros Uni just has to tighten things up a tiny bit more, and they could probably pull out a map win. The reverse sweep is definitely not impossible if they continue to play like this. They just have to make sure they're not boomed, which, I mean, realistically, at this level, it can happen, but I would like to think that it won't happen as commonly as with, the lower elos. These players are used to high stress, volatile situations, and I think Bang Bros Uni took that to the very end. They didn't quite pull it out, but they're very close to getting at least that one map win.
Yeah, it's match point for From the Trenches, and especially when we're going over to Escort, I feel this is kind of in favor. I've said this here or there, but I feel like From the Trenches definitely have a faster pace and momentum. We saw that on that last fight. They patiently waited to use the high noon for the Tracer to come out, and the Tracer just barely survives, doesn't able to kind of poke people, and then they just ignore and go straight after everyone on the front line. So they at least have the patience, but the aggression to just keep going in. Winning fights said that they, and all should rights, should not be winning. Reminds me of when the Vancouver Titans first went into the Overwatch League.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's also very similar stylistically to the more recent Dallas Fuel, which is basically Element Mystic 2.0. You'll see them coming in and just like taking these fights like 4v6 that they have no rights winning, but they just invest way more than you'd ever expect in terms of cooldowns, in terms of ultimates, and it works. And that's exactly what From the Trenches is doing right now. They're just creating value as opposed to finding value in a way. And a good portion of that is just playing so fast that Bang Bros Uni doesn't have the opportunity to really respond correctly, or they think, oh, maybe we don't invest, beat here, but then they end up dying, and they probably should have used beat to survive, and it just goes awry for them.
Yeah, it's a little scary, especially if you're on Bang Bros right now. You got to start tightening up. You have to get your momentum going forward, because at this point, all that's left in favor is a reverse sweep, and I'm always into seeing an amazing show.
Yeah, well, as much as our voices would not like another map 6, my heart would. So let's see how far we can take this.
Oh, definitely agree. When it comes to both of these player base, I kind of want to give a bit of an... I feel like both of these tank lines are kind of equal. Spark has been doing an amazing job of eating up damage or bubbling the team, and it's been surviving out longer than I really would have expected as an off-tank player.
Yeah, definitely. They're playing a little bit more aggressively than you'd expect from like a D.Va player in particular. They've been on D.Va a good amount of this series. They're not going for as much of like the protection as much as trying to pressure the enemy front line, sometimes the enemy back line if they get the opportunity, although From the Trenches isn't really giving them that opportunity. But it's more of like that borderline, that assassin style of D.Va that we've seen in the past, years past, seasons past, whatnot.
I definitely agree. We're going to be going in as we see Gibraltar getting played. This is very heavily a dive map. You see a lot of double bubble, monkeys being used. I agree. What are you expecting?
Mostly double bubble here. It's pretty standard. It's going to be so difficult to play the Reinhardt Brawl just because there's so much verticality. I would probably expect to see either like an Ashe or a Widowmaker, possibly more Hanzo, because the teams seem to like that. Particularly Bang Bros Uni likes to play that quite a bit, so I wouldn't be shocked to even see something like Hanzo Tracer from them. From the Trenches, we've really only seen this Brawl from them for the most part. We saw a little bit of double bubble, but most of the rest of the composition was the same as the Brawl that they were running. So I don't know what to expect aside from probably Red Cross on the Tracer. That's going to be universally. Okay, no, actually we're switching it up.
Yeah, no, look at that. Red Cross on the Ashe. Both teams running the Monkey D.Va. So they definitely want to dive. I wonder if Bang Bros are really going to run out with the Ana Moira.
I would hope not, because in this case, who's the main support? Like, no one's the main support. Main support's generally characterized by like better at peeling than the flex support and more consistent heals as opposed to like burst heals, and neither of these are particularly good at peeling for anyone. I guess maybe the Moira, but if you have to use a fade to peel, you're probably going to die soon thereafter.
I definitely feel that the Moira might just be there to help out Juice, or just be if they try to spawn camp. No, switching over to the Brig, thank goodness.
There we go.
As
there
now
we
they
go.
dive.
That's the main support.
Look at that, they're diving onto the high ground, both bubbles being used, just looking for the opportunity to take that poke. Spark just hugging the face of Xenon as they're just looking to just find any type of value. They have to drop down as they go low, just putting pressure onto the Monkey. Spark is going to be demeched here on... Nope, just barely being able to escape. Never mind, now gone. How unfortunate as the dynamite goes in, just barely being able to survive. They now reach underneath the payload, but Red Cross is sitting there and having a shooting range. Cobra going dangerously low, having to back up from the fight, using the bubble just to disengage. Now look, putting pressure.
This is going to be where the card's really going to be contested.
Yeah, look at that.
X44.
Yeah, they're just headshot watching as Red Cross manages to get to the Kree and Ana. That's gonna shut down the fight and the Brig.
Okay.
You know, you give that Ashe enough time to sit around and shoot, they're gonna shoot. And look at that, they're gonna be coming up on the Bob for this fight, but they also have both support.
The Pulse? Okay, that was a baby. I thought he killed Red Cross for a second. I was gonna say, how in the world? But no, that'll actually get rezzed up, and Xenon will be back with the mech. Anyways, I think Xenon was just getting a little bit cheeky and probably looking for a remech kill. Maybe a bit too aggressive there.
Yeah, look at that. They're going to be diving. They want to take over that high ground, gives them a lot of range, but the Pulse Bomb Nano coming out, they're going to be able to find Make. Wow, X4 managed to find Melon. Now he's 1v1ing this Ashe, and the Ashe is sitting there showing the dominance. Look at that. Xenon has to use the Diva Bomb just to be able to remech. Isn't going to be able to find anyone, but does manage to come back alive and going to be in this fight. Cobra using the Primal Rage just to boop around and look for a target. Now Luna just taking a keyword in. It's going to be Anti, but still looking to shut down Hydra. Now that rally's being used, they really want to try and win this fight. The bomb going to be used just to contest on towards the point, and Luna gets Nano, so they're already full health coming back in. Red Cross now gone from the fight. Spark popping out that Diva Bomb, looking to find a target, while Xeon is just there looking to do what it did. The Bob is the only one that's going to find a target, as everyone else on the side of From the Trenches just has to back up and look for a moment to recontest, but they're unable to because so much pressure is put on them.
You mentioned the Vancouver Titans in Season 2 briefly, and in all honesty, the amount of peel that Lua just got from the rest of Bang Bros Uni is very reminiscent of what they used to do with Bumper. And that was like, every possible cooldown went into saving that Winston. Like, this monkey is living, regardless of anything else. And that was honestly just fascinating and hilarious and beautiful to watch all at the same time. Ooh, the Widow duel.
Make finds Cobra while they drop. And Melon finds Luna, so both of the monkeys are gone, but the Widows are going to be watching out for each other, and Make is going to have sight first.
Yeah, well, Make-A-Wish has been on the Widow for a little bit longer, so Red Cross is going to have to be very careful about where they peek, probably timing how long it'll take. They know where they are.
Look at that. The poke's already going out. The Brig is there. That payload is an inch there. Managing to find Make in that room, interestingly enough. Didn't even see that. The pulse bomb goes out on the monkey, but Cobra goes down. Unfortunately, now that Diva Bomb going to be shot out. Looking to find someone. Briggs going down from the Tracer. Red Cross making it even. The stall is here. While the Brig is just looking to do the best she can and healing up her team. Hydra going down dangerously low. It's going to be dying from that monkey. Same with Melon Fan as he gets picked out by Sister. Now look at them. They're just doing their best. Xenon pops out that Diva Bomb. There's no bubble to try to save them. It is going to hit Luna, dropping down their health by a lot, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't have anyone else now recontest, and they're just going to be dying in the end. As the contest is still here. Cobra using the rally, hopefully to just boot people around and find some type of value, but you're just being melted down, and now the point's finally gone as Melon is just choosing to reset.
We're going to see the potential for a lot of even better Widow duels now. Okay, Red Cross. This dude has been clapping on the Widow. Unfortunately, it doesn't really help when your tanks are dying a lot. It seems like From the Trenches, supports are being pressured out a ton by X44 in particular, making it difficult to keep the tanks alive, making it difficult for the DPS From the Trenches to find enough space to really work with.
Look, that Goldberg gets nanoed and goes for the backline, but the Brig is there and is rallying just to stop them from doing anything, while on the other hand, we see Luna having to back out as well. Gets low. Xenon goes for that kill, manages to shut it down. Cobra going dangerously low. But Xenon's there. They even this fight up. The bubble being there just to sustain Make-A-Wish, finding out Melon Fan, but it doesn't even matter. Look at that sleep dart managing to find him out. And they're going to be able to pick off Cobra, evening up this fight. Melon's gone. Not going to be able to pressure them out. Now the Diva Bomb being shot out, hopefully trying to find a target, but looks like the Brig is just able to save herself. They still lost both of their tanks. They're not going to be able to put any pressure on them.
Yeah, no, and especially with Make-A-Wish having the sights, that's gonna happen where there's not too much space for the defense to hide out of sight lines here, as long as sights are up.
Yeah, now Riggs has to use the rally to sustain them, but Cobra is hit by the anti-grenade, not able to do much. Juice WRLD does go down to the pulse bomb, however, that might give them a bit of room to grow, but the Widow's being pressured out. X4 doing an amazing job of making sure that that Widow can't do anything. The payload just easily makes it through with 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
whatever struggles Bangbro Uni had in the previous two maps, it looks almost completely washed away at this point. They played really well, X44 in particular, putting a ton of pressure onto from the trenches backline. Their supports just can't breathe right now. Riggs and Hydra not having half as much impact as they had on Lijiang, where they were basically carrying their team in some regard. And I think Bangbros Uni has kind of figured that out. Said, okay, just focus the supports. They're not allowed to breathe anymore, literally and metaphorically speaking, and that's sort of creating a trickle down effect where the rest of from the trenches are struggling as a result.
Oh, I definitely agree. The support line have to be a bit more careful. And when we see from Bang Bros, they're basically running the same composition they ran for. Make is doing an amazing job when it comes to looking for these picks and people who are just not watching their angles. While X44 is doing an amazing job of pressuring out the supports and making sure that nobody goes away unscathed.
Interesting potential composition from the trenches. I don't trust it because they're on offense and they can meme as much as they want. Whereas Bang Bros Uni, on the other hand, this is more set in stone. We're actually seeing the legs, it looks like. Not a terrible option. They're just going to need to be careful if Red Cross decides to stick onto the Widow, which does not look like they will be doing. Are Xenon and Cobra actually going to stick with these tanks? At least for a brief period? Potentially.
It looks like they're going to be switching off to Symmetra, but they're staying onto this Hog Sigma. You must be confident in it, and they've taken the high ground bridge, so it's up for the Tracer to touch this point. They find someone in the back line, looks to be the Tracer. X44 just using all their blinks to look to back out of here, and it's going into that 1v1, but it's not going to live. It's already low. Now they've lost that Tracer. That's so much burst damage is already gone, and now the Sigma's moved up, hopefully looking to do anything. They're going to be able to D-Max Spark now, throwing out the Rock, just looking to burst people down. Now the E comes out, they're going to be able to heal so much with the Brig up there, too. They are somehow surviving with such different scales of healing. Melon being able to find out that Brig, shutting down Luna, and Hydra finding out K44. Look at that. Very impressive coming from both of these teams.
There's a reason the Sigma Roadhog hasn't played that much anymore since the Season 3 Overwatch League Grand Finals, because both Sigma and Roadhog got a lot of nerfs, so it's not necessarily viable. The way you get away with this composition nowadays is to basically just kill the enemy team as fast as humanly possible so that they can't do anything, and that's exactly what From the Trenches is doing.
Xenon gets antied, and we see Melon switch over to the Soldier just a touch back faster. That Primal comes out from Luna, and he's going to be... Oh my, the juggle absolutely shuts them down, can't even touch the ground. Red Cross also stuck in the enemy backline, and they just have to die.
That was a beautiful juggle from Lua. That's, I guess, what I'd expect from a GM Winston, you know? You expect them to have their stuff down, and I'd imagine now that they have lost momentum, this Sigma Roadhog composition is going to have a much harder time creating new momentum to work with. They're going to have a decent amount of ultimates, specifically the Transcendence, but Juice World is going to have just a simple anti-nade to potentially completely negate that.
Yeah, look at this. They're just poking out, building their ultimates. They're going to be coming up with the Girded Flux in a second. I think that's what they're relying on. Make using the Visor, same with the Nano going onto the Monkey. They're putting in so much damage, and the Transcendence is forced out just to keep them alive. Look at that. They use the High Noon onto the Diva Bomb, but Red Cross isn't able to escape. And now, look at that. Wait, what?
I don't know what just happened, but
I don't know what happened either, but we see the whole hog come out on the rally break, forces them to escape. Juice WRLD dangerously low, has to LOS and be a bit more careful. Now they're looking to poke this out. All the ultimates from the trenches gets used. Riggs coming up on the rally might help them sustain in this fight, but everyone else on Bang Bros is just perfectly fine. They're poking them out. They're not, and now they're being able to force touch the point. Melon goes down, Xanon goes down, Hydra being able to find out Luna, but that's just the tank down. Now the Brig bringing out the rally might help them. It's going to be helping them sustain. They find out Make now, and Cobra getting out so much damage on the Sigma. Sometimes you gotta underestimate his abilities.
We have reached new levels of scuff for the tank line, by the way. Xenon now on the Diva, so we are well far and away from anything that could resemble a main tank, but that's okay, because the amount of damage output is just inhuman. It's just ridiculous.
I agree. It's kind of impressive almost to an extent. Now look how much pressure they're putting onto Spark and Luna already before the fight can start. Hydra hearing the Tracer and is now 1v1ing, but it's so low that the Winston's being able to poke them out. Spark may get D-Mech, but they use that Nano. They're going to be just pushing forward. As everyone else dies, all that's left is a D.Va and Tracer. Luna just has so much value to walk in. I don't think Cobra is going to be sticking onto that Sigma anymore.
No, especially because he used the gravitic flux just recently. I would be shocked if he's running out on it, but
He hasn't actually switched.
They're sticking on it.
Actually, he's out of the spawn room.
They're defying expectations in every way imaginable, but that's fine because they have so much damage. They just have to.
Yeah, look at that. The Pulse Bomb comes out, unable to find anyone, but the Transcendence being there to save everyone but Cobra. They're staying on top of this high ground. They have free range to just shoot as much as they want. Red Cross now going down. Everyone else just having to back up. Cobra finally switching over to the Winston. Finally, it's like, you know what? I won't play Sig anymore. I'm sorry, guys.
There's only so much feeding that can be done before you realize that the main tank is a position for a reason. A little bit more survivability than double off tank in that case. Now, when you're looking at from the trenches and their resources, you don't really have that many. Red Cross can try and get cheeky with High Noon.
Yeah, but Xena eats the Pulse Bomb, and now there's a 1v1 in the small room. They just have full range to start pushing this payload. That Tracer is being pressured out so much. Extra 4 now finally goes down. The D.Va being pressured out. It looks like they finally have started taking seriously.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess, all you needed was a janky High Noon to make it work, especially when Make-A-Wish was the one who had the attack visor. Not really going to be able to use that, at least not cleanly, depending on how far from the trenches want to push in. It looks like they're just going to stay on the high ground and allow Card to push in slowly, so I'd expect to see attack visor come in rather briefly. Yeah,
look at that. Already putting pressure. The rally comes out just to sustain Make-A-Wish as they're now using the rally, hopefully to burst people down. Has to rotate to the bottom room. The tanks are doing such a good job on forcing them out, but they're not being able to be sustained. The D.Va Bomb gets used in the small corridor as Xenon's just doing the best, but they get stunned out and killed. Oh. How unfortunate. Now the D.Va Bomb gets popped out. Is going to finish off everyone from the trenches.
Beautiful stun there from Sister to prevent the remake. Probably would have died if it didn't work, but you know, with great power comes great responsibility. I'm not sure if that's the quote to use, but we're going with it. Neither team really has too many ultimates online. From the trenches at the very least has both DPS ultimates, so they could try and make something of that.
Yeah, look at that. Red Cross using the High Noon, looking to get some value, while Cobra's 1v1ing. Make-A-Wish has the healing spot, is able to escape. Luna does go down to the Hydra. Don't ever underestimate the Zenyatta, as Make does manage to find out Cobra, the Transcendence, giving them the ability to start walking forward, especially with no tank stopping them. But we are going to be entering into overtime as the payload gets close. Meg wanting to make that space, manages to find out Melon, but nobody else is there to help them out. While Cobra uses Primal to run back to point and try to touch. The Monkey's still there looking to do anything. Luna has the Primal to stall out if they choose so, but looks like they want to give
a chance.
Yeah, they just choose not to or don't have a chance as they manage to cap having a minute and 25 seconds. Either way, they have a lower time bank when it comes to Bang Bros.
Significantly lower time bank. They're probably not going to capture this without overtime hitting. Interestingly enough, Melon fan swaps over to the Reaper, and something that happened a lot earlier, but we didn't get a chance to cover it, is that Riggs actually swaps over to an Ana, so we don't have a main support anymore from the trenches. It's just double flex support, which kind of leads into the very like hyper-aggressive, fast, just full-on offensive composition that From the Trenches wants to play.
I agree. Now look, they managed to use the High Noon looking for a target, but he gets bubbled by Luna. What an amazing use of the ability. The Primal comes out to save themselves, but they're dangerously low, unable to do much. The remake now comes out. Cobra pays for their life. Similarly, now it's still somewhat of an even fight. Only both of the monkeys are gone. However, Spark does have the D.Va Bomb if they so choose to use it. The Transcendence unable to save Red Cross, but Reaper Aim is able to find them out, is going to be able to escape. They find Spark, the High Noon being popped, forces them to back up, and still want to get of an even fight until Hydra goes down, and now they have to back up. But at 15 seconds, what do they have to do?
Well, first off, touch the point, and second off, deal with Juice WRLD's Nano Boost. That's inevitably going to probably go on Lua. Maybe you put it on X44 just for the heck of it. Maybe sister if you're really feeling... Oh, okay, well...
Yeah, Cobra gets killed with such a predictable angle. The Dragons comes out. Everyone's getting melted. And it looks like Red Cross still wants... Nope, he's just going to give it up. And we're just going to be going to next map because Bang Bros bring it up. First point. Do I hear a reverse sweep?
They definitely came alive, but I think they're still at the point where they really have to take it one map at a time. You know, just worry about map 4, and then you can worry about a potential map 5, and even a map 6 if we decide to go there. I guess if the teams decide to go there. We don't talk about that. If you tell me I have to cast 12 games in a day, I'm going to sue the teams. Navino will be hearing it from me. I'm sure he would be thrilled to... hear your complaints out. But in the meantime, Bang Bros Uni not out of it quite yet. They have not pulled out of this series at all and are looking rather solid. You know, they played the clock really well on that second point defense, and that led into just a default better time bank and ultimately just a better defense on the third point all around.
Yeah. I kind of want to make a bit of a shout out when it comes to Make-A-Wish Kid, because I feel like she's done an amazing job when it's come to that Widow and hit scan. She's been pressuring people out. Same with Expert 4. It wasn't until the end that they were kind of struggling because they weren't struggling, but they were able to just pick people out and especially shut down Cobra, Xenon. They were just unable to do anything.
Yeah, honestly, Bang Bros Uni's DPS started to come alive in a big way, and I think that allowed them to begin to equalize, allow the rest of the team to come back, regain momentum, and from there, that's basically the story of Gibraltar. You know, they took it rather demandingly.
Well, but now we're going into 2CP, all right? And let's be real, 2CP can be a bit of a messy map.
Yeah. Depends on specifically which map they decide to run. We might be seeing Volskaya yet again. But there are other options. It really depends on what these teams are comfortable with, what they want to run, how fast they want to run it, what compositions they're feeling like. You know, I wouldn't be shocked to see more of the same from Bang Bros Uni from what they won Gibraltar with.
Definitely agree. So when it comes to 2CP, I feel like, again, it's always a very hated and very argumented. It's not even coming back in Overwatch 2, which maybe if they decide to, they'll remove it from Overwatch 1. You know? God bless the souls.
So, well, the games are combining. At least the PvP is.
Yeah. So when I feel like when it comes to 2CP, this kind of this might favor from the trenches. They seem to have a lot of ability to kind of stagger these fights and get picks and get value and win things that they really shouldn't. And when it comes to 2CP, you're able to stall this out. And when it comes to Hanamura, This is one of the maps where you can win something you should not have won.
I am of the firm belief that Hanamura's second point is probably one of the hardest points in the entire game to capture.
Probably.
It's so difficult. It's definitely up there in like the top 3, but there's a couple others that you could contest as so hard to capture. Most of them all in 2CP, if I'm being honest. But yeah, first point, great place to stall out the clock, which we saw Bang Bros Uni did very well on Gibraltar's second point in particular.
Yeah, look at this. Both of these teams running very different compositions. We may see something switch come out of Bang Bros, but either way, they're running a dive composition against a brawl with a McCree and May. I really like what From the Trenches are doing because if Bang Bros run out, they have to worry about so much.
Yeah, I'm not too shocked to see this composition. May is universally viable, as well as being prepared for the possibility of a Pharah or an Echo, because they're also rather popular picks on both offense and defense. So Red Cross on the McCree makes a lot of sense. Millen Fan basically just has to exist as May and can find value. And then tank support's pretty standard in this meta. DPS are the only ones with that much freedom, to be honest. No real surprises from Bang Bros either, playing this traditional dive with a Symmetra just to get a little bit cheeky with the teleporter.
Can't say that I've ever seen a teleport strat with a monkey, but that wall is going to come out, stop them from pushing. Looks like they want to go to the top left of the map. as they're just going up. No, only one is really going out. Red Cross able to find out X44 is going to be stopping them from pushing, as well as the fact that they take out the teleporter, so they can't even do anything. Make-A-Wish goes dangerously low, has to back up. Hydra able to find out Juice WRLD. Now they've lost their support. They don't even have a reason to continue this fight. Instead, they just need to back up.
If you're Bang Bros, that's fine. Like you have so much time. That was a very quick fight. That was only like what 35 seconds tops. So you have plenty of time to take another dry fight. To just take your time. And okay, well now we have to take a little bit more time.
Yeah, like that. But the res does come out, brings it back. The fight's still somewhat going on as we see them looking to do anything. That teleporter going on site, but they break it so fast. And that D.Va being so aggressive, looking for X44, just demeching Xenon, and that's so unfortunate because now there's nothing to eat the abilities. That window popping out, but X44 is in the back line looking to just poke people out, and they're just ignoring it. The sim wall does make that space, looking for the angles, but the sound barrier now sustaining everyone who was low. High Noon being popped out, looking to just find someone as the remake continues on, and either way, everyone on Bang Bros is just split, unable to regroup and have a good clean fight. Looks like they want to leave, but still stay in the fight, as they're able to find two, being able to just kind of make this value, and that monkey comes in to bail out for that Echo, and they might have the ability because Cobra is the last person who can really stay on this point. The Shatter comes out looking to get this Ana, but has the Mercy Pocket. No, does the charge, gets it out. Xenon's still alive with the, and they get the copy onto the Lucio. Just want to point that out, as everyone's still recoming. The sound barrier managing to save them, and the Reds bringing back that Ana. Xenon now's going to be demech before it can come out, and they're just going to start giving up. There's no reason to recontest anymore.
Yeah, honestly, on that point for Hanamura, once the offense starts to get an even fight, where it's going back and forth in the kill feed, it's going to favor the offense. The spawns are so far away from the trenches that they just have to disengage. But they ran down the clock as far as they reasonably could. Actually seeing a swap off of the Mei, interesting, considering that it's very viable in this composition, but I guess less so against the dive.
Especially with the Blizzard, but I'm guessing they just decided they didn't want to, as they're now taking the slow, kind of very big poke fight. Spark is on top of the high ground. That D.Va Bomb's coming out. They're just going to be waiting. Going to pop out. Manage to find Make. That's very amazing. Spark unable to go to the high ground. Just the D.Va Bomb. It's only really going to be able to find Hydra, but everyone else on their team is just gone and onto UCP. If you've lost one, you don't capture.
Yeah, pretty much, especially on this point. Like I said, it's so difficult to capture this point. Even getting a tick per fight is going to be a massive win for Bang Bros Uni, but that's going to be difficult considering they don't have really anything besides the duplicate to push into this upcoming fight, and Win From the Trenches has darn near 5 ultimates outside of the D.Va Bomb. It's going to be rather difficult for them this upcoming fight. They're probably just going to take a dry fight.
Oh, I definitely would agree, especially with the break now coming online. So now they're in this situation where they need to dive, but that Kree is waiting for them. Same with the Reaper. They're just waiting for an initial pick or burst damage that would allow them. X44 does have the copy, which is a great opening, but look at that, already brawling in. They have the Reaper, the High Noon pops out, doesn't break the copy, but does find the monkey. Now the copy's gone and unable to do anything, as they just have to back up.
Yeah, and now the tricky part is that for Bang Bros Uni, they can't take even fights anymore. They could on first point, it can go back and forth, they can light up the kill feed half of the time, but now they really have to light it up the entire time. Otherwise, they're not even going to get a tick. They need to have at least one mostly decisive fight to even hope to get a tick, and that's why they're struggling. They came into second point with like 4.5 minutes, and they're now down almost half of that, so...
Yeah, completely agree. They're relying on a High Noon Nano for this next push compared to a Death Blossom. Look at that Nano put onto the monkey. They're going to be looking to go out, eating up, and he walks out of the immortality for a tiny bit, isn't able to save him. They do find Make and even fight the Shatter gets canceled out by Cobra as well, and they're just trying to do their best to find some evening of winning this fight. Xenon using the D.Va Bomb just to be able to remech. The tick, not even possible, as that D.Va Bomb going onto the point, stopping them from touching, but everyone from the trenches is respawning. It's already a 2 CP moment, as they had a good initial pick, and that ball's coming back, but they're not going to be able to do anything besides stall nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. You just gotta disengage once again if you're Bang Bros Uni, and that's rough. You invested a lot into that fight. You're having a few swaps come in. I think they swapped briefly. Uh, yeah, they're coming back to the McCree off of the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball and whatnot. So they have basically no ultimates once again. They have the Death Blossom, which is good, but they're not really going to be close to the beat until probably after this upcoming fight. The one silver lining for them is that From the Trenches really only has the Shatter. They're not going to be close to anything either. But that's going to be rough to try and make value with the Death Blossom going into a Shatter.
Look, already taking on to the high ground, using the Wraith early, but now they know what you're planning. They're just running right, and that Shatter gets popped out, manages to figure it, and the Immortality's just there to sustain. I mean, there is somebody on point, but they were going to stop before they can get a tick. Cobra at 50 HP, doing an amazing job on taking these fights early and putting on so much pressure.
Yeah, in all honesty, the tanks from the trenches have been doing a really good job of just outplaying their counterparts. In all honesty, Cobra seems to be running circles around Lua in a pretty big way. Yeah, From the Trenches feels like Gibraltar was just a fluke at this point.
Even worse, Spark gets staggered. That's 20 seconds going into a 20-second point left that they have to touch with 3 ultimates, and they really need their diva if they want to try anything.
Yeah, there's no way they're doing anything without their diva, which makes it even more difficult because Xenon is also on diva, and he can just deny half of what.
Look at that, the Sound Barrier High Noon being used, having to back out. They're just trying to stall it, and it looks like K44 manages to find out Red Cross, the Diva Bomb coming out. Wait, they don't...
They
got off point from the Diva Bomb.
Ah, that's tragic.
Oh no, they had ults! It was winnable!
I'm not sure how winnable, because again, it was going back and forth, and that it was going to favor the defense, but who knows if they could have pushed it far enough to get a tick.
That's
hard
why
to
you
say.
say it was winnable. But I mean, hey, From the Trenches, this is the win condition you're looking for. You just need to capture a tick on second point, so you just need to win first point.
Basically, yeah. Unfortunately, that can be easier said than done, as we just witnessed with 4.5 minutes going into that for Bang Bros Uni. Couldn't manage to even get a singular tick, potentially seeing a double aerial composition coming in from the trenches. Not sure if they're going to stick on it.
Mr. Ackery, I do want to warn you that there is a high possibility that if From the Trenches captures first point, but not second, that's a tie.
Yep. I am fully aware. You're the play-by-play, so you have to talk more than me.
Oh, I'm just glad you're aware. Bang Bros running out with this dive composition. Looks like they want to play far back, but they do want to dive in and stop. While From the Trenches are running the double aerial, that's a lot of burst damage.
Definitely is, and it's going to be difficult for Make-A-Wish to deal with both aerial targets all at once. However, if Melonfan doesn't stick onto the Pharah, that makes it a little bit easier.
No, they decided to go straight over to the Symmetra teleportation composition. It's pretty standard. Everyone predicts you to run it. Look at that, already going to the top high ground. They managed to finally get up there, but Hydra goes down from the anti-grenade. That's so unfortunate. Now they're just looking to find some value and even up this fight. But without their flex support, they have less healing. They're going to need to make a miracle. Just running onto this point, Cobra and Riggs goes down, and finally Melon, so they're just unable to get much out of it.
Yeah, that's just going to be a fight win for the defense. GG go next.
But they do get 2 picks.
They do, yes. They're going to get some staggered picks, so Make-A-Wish probably isn't going to be there for the beginning of this upcoming fight. And they are going to have to be cognizant of the Ashes respawn, make sure they respect her sight lines, but otherwise From the Trench is going to have a little bit of an easier time pushing in without that poke damage.
Yeah, Bang Bros want to back up. They want to wait till they're 6 to have any type of recontest, because otherwise they're just poking. Juice World popping in on the Nano. The sleep goes on to Cobra, and now they're just bursting down the Immortality, not being able to save much. Melonfan being melted down. Same with Cobra. That Nano Monkey being able to do as much, especially with the Primal just being able to run around, and everyone on From the Trenches having to go back into their spawn room. But pause! Going in, I think it was a literal pause. We don't see anyone DCing from the map. Nope.
Automatic unpause, so who knows? That might have just been the host accidentally pressing something. But either way, not even a tick gained for the trenches. So that's it's going to be a little bit rough. They're going to have a decent amount of ultimates coming into this next fight, but Bang Bros Uni has been holding on to a good amount themselves. They really only used Primal and Nano to win that last fight, so they're going to have Bob, Pulse Bomb, Normal Bomb, and Rally.
Yeah, look at this. It's going to be something very interesting as we see them rotate to the left side. Pulse Bomb not being able to hit, but the Lucio gets pooped out, gets stuck, and wasn't able to recontest with the team. Look at that copy just going out early. Sure, they managed to finish off that Bob, but they've lost 2 people for this fight. Sure, they froze hit to the high ground, but now they're going to be pinched off with the backline just moving in. Same with that Brig, looking to find someone out. They're just now running on. I think they found their good morning when it comes to this. The Lucio now returning back into the fight. The Diva Bomb popping out, but they found out Hydra still committing into this. They are looking for some type of advantage, but they're still being poked out one by one, staying onto this high ground. I don't know how they expect for their Reaper or anyone else to return, but I'm guessing they must have a plan. The Monkey returns back to the high ground, just looking to poke people out. They're not being able to do that, but they do manage to find Luna. Same with the D-Mac. The Nano goes on to the baby Diva. That's so unfortunate, but they do manage to find out Red Cross. The High Noon now popping out. It's going to force people back out, but the remake from the Diva being able to shut it down and force them to move out. The Immortality managed to save them. And they are starting to win this fight. The Sound Barrier being invested to help sustain people from out of range. And only the Divas left. Spark is the only person who can really touch, and in a minute the Monkey's going to be touching just to lower down this time bank. But I am very impressed that From the Trenches manages to win that fight.
Yeah, that got really dicey. I'm kind of surprised Lua decided to not use the Primal, but at the same time, I'm not sure if anyone else was planning on coming back. No, X44 is opting for a quick reset. Fair, because you get the fast respawns because 2 CP, but they had about a minute less than Bang Bros Unis did to capture this 1 tick. So it's definitely defendable.
Yeah, and
I would say losable.
I would say it's in favor of Bang Bros. They're about to have Bob, and Bob is so powerful. Look at that answer grenade hitting both Cobra and Xenon. The Bob coming out, forcing them to just back up a bit. They did find the Tracer, but Tracer's going to come back, and the Red Cross pays with his life in this fight. Look at them still wanting to commit into this fight. The touch point throwing out. They managed to force out the Ash, and now the Monkey's just there looking to do the best that they can. Now the Diva Mech coming out, looking to find anyone, but they die before anything can happen. Cobra also looking to do anything, but everyone is just gone. Melonfan just being looped around, is now on the high ground, just like a little bouncy ball, and is still, okay, now finally gone.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a rough fight upcoming for From the Trenches, because they have Diva Bomb. Wait, how did I have Diva Bomb? Didn't they just use it?
I guess they didn't. I thought they did, but apparently not.
Well, whatever. The game says they do, so we'll go with that. They're going to have Diva Bomb and a High Noon, but in terms of Bang Bros Uni, they're going to have the Rally, they're going to have Nano and the Bomb as well. So they're going to have a little bit more chunk to their defense.
Yeah, look at that. Nano going onto the Monkey, but they find Melon finds Make out in the open, just unable to be saved, and now they're starting to push in, finding the Valley that they want, but the Rally being there to help sustain them out into this fight. Melon does find both DPS, Make going straight onto the Widow, hopefully looking to just end something, but now Xeon is there, looking to just end something. They find out the Monkey. This is the fight that you've been looking for. It's still somewhat even. They have to touch the Brig, doing their, and they're not able to touch fast enough. How unfortunate as From the Trenches are able to force people off and win the point 3-1.
I don't know how much it really would have mattered because it was just the Brig that was capable of touching, and you had Red Cross with Death Blossom going for the Brig, so probably would have won anyways, but rather unfortunate. I guess you always want to go down to the last man if you're on the defense, but not a terrible performance from Bang Bros Uni. They brought it back in those last 2 maps, made it a lot closer.
Yeah, I would have to say ridiculous name, but incredible gameplay if you come out of me. But, you know, when it came from the Trenches, they were just able to make magic happen. They were consistent. They were ready to just win fights that they shouldn't have. And Gibraltar looked like they were just trying to have some fun. And then when they came on to Hanamura, said, all right, guys, let's wake up and win this map.
Yeah, definitely. It felt like From the Trenches went to sleep a little bit in Gibraltar and kind of brought that back. Definitely not to the level that they were in the first map in particular. It felt like they were slowly going down in energy over the course of the series and kind of had a small uptick on Hanamura that allowed them to close it out. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you really need. You just need to get 3 points on the board.
And I fully believe that. But if I am correct, Mr. Accuracy, we are done with the rest of ELO Knight's games tonight.
Yes, that is the last of them. Very fortunate that these teams were kind enough to wait for the previous game to end for this one to be streamed.
Yeah, then I want to give so much love to everyone who's just been watching. Thank you, Acronator, for joining me for this broadcast. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that little heart button. Follows, gives you updates, join the Discord, and stay up to date with everything that happens with Elo Hell. My name is username _Intel. That's Mr. Acronator. Twitter, you can find us, and we will see you next time.